Good afternoon, everyone. If you are here for the restoration stories out of Trench Town, you are in the right place. Let's just give our guests a few more minutes and then we'll begin in about 2 minutes. As our friends from Brunswick, Manchester, UK have done, they have posted a greeting in our chat. So feel free to do that if you would like to let us know where you are. Thank you.
Hi, Leva. Hey, Margaret. So happy to see you guys. Yeah. Hi, Liv. Liv is in Belgium, Leslie Ann.
Oh, lovely. Oh, my. Yeah. That's great.
Yes.
What time is it there?
Yeah.
Let's unmute ourselves. No worries. Okay, Nikisha, if you would, let's get rolling.
Hi, Margaret. Can you hear me, Margaret?
Yes, they can't unmute, unfortunately. Right now,
yeah, that's okay.
Unmute them short.
Yeah.
We'll unmute them towards the end.
It's okay. Lee volunteered with us for 3.5 years, Leslie.
Yes.
Oh my, that's lovely.
Yeah. And Margaret gave me a house to live in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah. She was one of the first persons to come to Trench Town. Had a birthday party down there, and
okay,
for the first time these kids had a birthday. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You should see the cake. It was a huge cake. Huh?
You can't tell everything, you know, Lorna. Watch it now.
Well, good. I've heard, Margaret, I've heard stories about you. Good to see your face.
Thank you.
Robert
I hope
Dixon
they're
here.
good stories, you know. I hope they're good ones.
All good, all good, all good.
I'm relieved.
And her son Alex,
Yes.
also taught at school. And her brother, Michael, that's the first grade 9 teacher that we had.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Good years, Lorna. Good years, Miss Lorna. Good years.
Great years. Great. It's so good to see you,
All
Margaret.
Right.
Yes.
Good to
Nikisha, you can stop sharing. Nikisha
Okay.
needs to stop sharing so that we can start. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Somebody has YouTube on. Somebody has YouTube on, one of us who's unmuted has YouTube playing. All right.
I can't hear it.
I heard it.
Okay, so you're hearing it. I'm not hearing it, just so you know. Still hearing it?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, so a warm good afternoon, Operation Restoration Christian School family, faculty, staff, friends and supporters of ORCS, colleagues, welcome to Restoration Stories Out of Trenchtown. Thank you all so much for taking some time to join us this afternoon. Please forgive my voice. It is going to go in and out. It has been playing the fool with me today. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, thank you for joining us this afternoon for what we hope will be a truly informative and inspiring conversation with two extraordinary persons in the ORCS family, Mrs. Lorna Stanley, founder and former principal, as well as our current principal, Mr. Robert Dixon. I am Leslie Ann Samuel. I consider myself a dedicated friend of ORCS. How is that, Mr. Dixon? That's good, right?
Excellent.
I will be serving as your host for the next hour or so. So please sit back, relax, get your iced tea or your water, and get ready to have a fun hour with us. Okay. Let us begin as we always do with a bit of prayer as we invite our Father into our midst. Holy Father, thank you for giving us this bright and beautiful day. As we come together this afternoon, we place ourselves before you, for you are filled with beauty and light and care deeply about us as no one else can. Thank you for bringing us all together to do your work for Operation Restoration Christian School as we prepare to celebrate our school's 30th anniversary. May your light enfold us. May your spirit guide us. May your grace abound in us. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. Okay. Our program today will be a pretty short one. We are hoping to stay within the hour. Gonna try our best. We'll hear from our special presenters as well as some supporters of ORCS who have been with us over the years. And we'll even share a few videos of our very special ORCS students. At the end, I'm hopeful that we'll have some time for a bit of Q&A and perhaps spend some time in fellowship. We'll see how it goes. I know time is precious, so let's begin by introducing our special participants. We all know them well, very well, and they need little introduction, but please indulge me for just a few moments. Known fondly to most of us as Lady Lorna, Mrs. Lorna Archer Stanley, I love that, was born in Panama and brought to Jamaica as a small girl. She attended Kingston Technical High School and in her early adulthood migrated to the United States. In both New York and Florida, Mrs. Stanley worked as a journalist, an aide to a congressman, a legal assistant, and the owner of her own public relations firm. I'm sure that's only just a part of it. I'm sure there's much, much more. She was also a promoter of Jamaican cultural events, along with writing and performing her own plays. After more than 30 years, in 1994, Mrs. Stanley returned to our island home, Jamaica. And as they say, the rest is history. In a few moments, we'll have Mrs. Stanley tell us the rest of her remarkable story. Also with us is Mr. Robert Dixon, the current principal of ORCS. He's a graduate of Calabar High School and began his career in banking before beginning his work in Trenchtown. A little later, Mr. Dixon will fill us in on the remainder of his story. So let's chat with Lady Lorna for a little bit. Lady Lorna, let's start with, so what inspired you to start this school 30 years ago? Why
First of all,
Trenchtown? What need did you see that you were trying to address? Yes, I know that's 3 questions, but
yes.
I'm sure you got it.
Yes, well, first of all, I just want to say hello and thank you all and welcome. I see quite a number of my friends and former colleagues, volunteers at the school. So I really appreciate your being here today. It's a long story about what inspired me to go to Trenchtown, but briefly, I will say that it was really the Lord who sent me there, really God, honestly. Some of you may have known Pastor Bobby Wilmot, and in the early days, in the 80s, I used to attend Covenant Community Church with Bobby, and the church divided into 7 different branches, and one of the locations was Trenchtown. And on a visit to Jamaica, I was curious to see what Bobby was doing in Trenchtown. And I went there and he started sharing with me. And during that time, I had what I consider a vision, because there were a number of children who gathered around us. I was eating a piece of pudding and they gathered around us, and one little boy was tugging on my dress, begging me a piece of this pudding, and tears were running down, and I was really touched by that. But in addition to that, the vision that I now realize I saw was little children, just like the one that was tugging on my dress. In the vision, I saw a number of them, and I heard a voice saying to me, look at these children and try to imagine what they're going to be like in about 10 years if no one reaches out to them. And after that period, they had grown up, and some were like about 13, 14, 15, and they were really, very angry, very angry, and they were armed with machetes and sharpened broomsticks, and they were out for war, really. Anyway, I didn't think anything of it, but I went back to West Palm Beach, where I was living at the time, and I kept having a dream, a recurring dream of these children. And I heard a voice saying, I was hungry and you did not feed me. I was naked and you did not clothe me. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do about these children? And I said, okay, Lord, I'll go back. Because Bobby had shared his vision of starting a basic school. And so I went back to Jamaica in 1994 to assist Bobby with starting the school.
So, so we thought we were starting a basic school, but here we are with something a little different.
Yes.
So as you reflect then on the past 30 years, you know, what impact do you think you have made on the Trenchtown community and on the children in particular who, you know, your vision was all about? Okay,
just to back up a little more, I really thought I was starting a basic school.
Right.
But the day that the school opened, a war broke out between Rima and Tivoli that would last like about 4 years.
Oh my.
All the children came pouring into the school, and we decided that we would split it. In the mornings, we would have the basic school, and in the afternoon, we would have an after-school program. And then we started that way. And what happened is that the children who came to the after school were mostly children already attending high school. And I realized that a lot of them could not read and write. And so it evolved from that into the remedial school.
Gotcha. Yeah, they had been passed along for many years,
definitely.
obviously.
They passed through fell through the slots, you know.
Right, right.
The impact that we have made. Oh boy, that's a long story, you know. Tremendous impact on the lives of the children and their parents, and on the community as a whole.
Sure.
Many of our students, you know, as I told you, we started off the remedial education school after we realized that they needed to be more illiterate, because they were illiterate. They couldn't read and write. And so many of them will tell you themselves that had it not been for the school, had we not rescued them at that time, they would have fallen through the cracks. And not only that, they would more than likely become gunmen.
Right.
Because it was mostly boys who came to the school. I remember the ratio at one point was like 8 to 10, 8 to 2 or something like that. Most people thought it was a boys' school. And they would tell you themselves that they definitely would have joined gangs. In addition to that, all the staff at the time were people from Trenchtown. Young men, mostly. Amelia, Choi, I can name them. And they came in and they weren't working. They were just sitting by the wayside. And most of them had graduated from high school with subjects. But because of the stigma attached to Trenchtown, they couldn't get jobs anywhere. So they were happy to come there. And even though we couldn't pay them much, they were happy to come. And I was more than happy to have them.
Sure.
Because they started helping and teaching the children, essentially, how to read. And we had all kinds of them. One was a Don at one point. Margaret will recall, she met him. And he came in and he volunteered and offered to teach math. And he was a good volunteer. So that made a big difference.
Sure.
A big difference in the lives of not only the children, but people from the community. Because many of them went back to school. We helped them to go back to school and they got their subjects, and most of them are teachers and they have very lucrative jobs. They're all over the world now. Shamari, he's probably on. I think I saw his name. He's a bank manager somewhere, you know. He was from the community. He came to the after school, and quite a number of them. So the impact has just been awesome.
Sure. You know, as I think about it, it's 30 years. That's a long time. It's a very long time. And yet the school is still as critical and as vital to the Trenchtown community. And let me dare say to Jamaica as well. What you started here as foundational. It's sad to me a bit that others have not copied your model, or have they? Are you aware of whether or not other communities have attempted to do what you started?
I really am not sure. I think so. I know right in the community, you know, there's also the Joytown Center, and they have been doing essentially what I have done. But one of the things that I know is that because we had this program where we would teach literacy, some of the schools now have that in their curriculum, you know, where they are now teaching literacy. I know quite a few, because instead of, and I think that is what is happening now, that instead of coming to our school, they are now staying in their regular schools, but they have a literacy program.
Okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You know, Lorna, we could probably talk with you for the next hour easily, just you and you.
Oh yes.
But I think we're gonna show a video right now of some of our students. I think that's correct, right, Ms. Nakisha? Because we want to make sure that you are aware of some of what our students have done and are doing. So let's play the first video. Thanks.
The great king of Judah. Any other king of King Kong. Aye, them came up in there and a justice war.
how fabulous was that? You know, it really does my heart good to see the arts, you know, being embraced by our students as well. You all noticed costumes and setting and everything, and our students stepping up to being the actors that we know they can be. So that was really lovely. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. So let's turn now to Mr. Dixon. So Mr. Dixon, if Keisha, if you will bring him on screen to join us. So Mr. Dixon, hello.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
How did your relationship with ORCS begin?
Yes, well, you mentioned that I started out in banking, and I did spend 5 years. I've spent five. When I stepped into the bank, the first place I looked was the manager's office because that was my goal. My goal was to run things, and I started off really well. We did well. I did well in banking, and I decided to do my MBA. And I think that's when things started to change. I sat in that class, the orientation for my MBA in 2006, and I just realized I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. It wasn't. It's other people calling. It wasn't mine. As I went through and spoke about what the course entailed, and so I didn't go back. And I remember also I was always involved in camp counseling in the summers. And I remember my manager, after I had planned my vacation to counsel at camp and had been planning the camp, they wanted to send me straight to training school. The same weekend, the same week I was to go on leave. And they were asking me to go. And to be honest, I cried because I just missing the camp was not something I wanted to do. And I realized then that I was in the wrong place. So I did leave. I left the bank in 2007. And it was a man named David Campbell, an Englishman that was living in Jamaica at the time, that started Fusion Jamaica, that's still operating, that actually introduced me to Trenchtown. I never really, I think I drove through the community, but I started working with him doing community and youth work. And one of the places we went to was Operation Restoration Christian School. We had a lunchtime program there. And of course, everybody in the bank thought I was crazy. And they told me to stop wasting my time, what I'm doing. But I fell in love with the community, fell in love with the work I was doing, felt called to do it. And so we did a lunchtime program, met Lorna in 2008. We did a camp with the students from Operation Restoration. We did more than one camp at that time. We would take them every month. We would have day trips for students in the community, from children in the community all around. And so that's how I was introduced. That's how I met Lorna, and that's how I was introduced to the school.
Wow, and here we go, 10 years later, here you are.
Yes.
Still a principal of a phenomenal school. That is so critical. I know that the government does from time to time send students to you.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Yes, of course, because you're fulfilling a need, and that's important. So what events are planned to celebrate the school's a big 3-0? That's on the agenda.
Yes, it's an exciting time for us. It's an exciting time. We're celebrating 30 years. So 20 years, Lorna was the principal of the school, and we want to celebrate at 20. But there was this transition at 20 as well. But we're 30 years and we're excited. We give God thanks that He has preserved us, taken us. He still has us here giving. And so we have in September, so the anniversary is September the 12th. So, but we're going to have a week of celebration. And if Nikisha can bring up the calendar, on the 8th of September, we'll be having a church service, right? So we'll kick off with a church service, and anyone here is invited. Please do come. Do try to support us. On the 12th of September, we'll be having and celebration in the community, a big celebration in the community. People start to ask about it already, and we're going to start to spread it wide. We're going to start with a community festival where there's face painting and balloon sculpting and games and, stuff for the children, because, that's where our heart is. And then we're going to go into our evening program around about 5:36, where there'll be a mini concert featuring, ORCS performing arts students. There'll be a gospel artist, Kerry Sales, and Mark Johnson. There will be, presentations from community members, testimonies, and from community members as to the impact of the school. Of course, the whole community want to see Lorna and haven't seen her. And they did see her a little the other day, and greeted her. We'll always also having a short speaker, right? That will be sharing as well. So that's the events that we have.
Okay,
planned.
and you also have a gala plan, no, for the
Oh
Saturday?
yes, sorry, because I get my
Yeah.
call. My apologies. Let me turn off my phone. Somebody called me about this thing too. So yes, so the main event is a gala on the 14th, Saturday the 14th of September. The gala will be at the Summit. That's the former Knutsford Court Hotel in New Kingston on Chelsea Avenue. We'll start at 7. It will be an award. We're celebrating that Lorna there's a legacy of love that has been unleashed in the community. It started in 1994 when Lorna entered, and we want to celebrate persons who have demonstrated that love, giving of themselves, of their time, of their resources, to the community. And we want to celebrate persons. We have identified persons who will be awarded, and we have also identified persons who will be recognized for their contribution to ORCS.
Awesome. So that sounds like the place that we all need to be. From September 8th to the 14th, we need to plan our vacation around that, ladies and gentlemen, to be in Kingston, in Churchtown, for September 8th through the 14th, so that we can be a part of all that is happening for Operation Restoration Christian School, celebrating a legacy of love. I love that, I have to tell you. That definitely resonates with me. So thank you very much for sharing that. I'm sure we'll talk some more about this before the afternoon is out. So let's go back to Miss Lorna again for another question. Miss Lorna, have there been any key partnerships or collaborations that helped the school to develop and to thrive, especially in the early days?
Oh, yes. And I see quite a number of them.
Great.
Yes, I see Margaret. I told you about her. I see Flynn in New York. You know Flynn.
I do.
Yeah. She was always sending me, I could count on her. Somebody I could call and say, we don't have any rice, She send me some money. I see Carl Chambers, and he will tell you a little bit of how he got started, the Integrity Children's Fund, and they help us. They have been there with us for years and years and years,
Okay.
I also see Leva from Belgium, and I was talking to her before, and I can't begin to tell you how valuable she was during the 3 years that she was there. And I see Dr. Heather Lawson-Myers, and it's good to see her. She was a strong, I think she still is a supporter of the school, one of the early ones. I see Janet, still is, huh? I also see Janet Maxwell, and she will also come to Trenchtown. I see Delcy, she's with an organization in Florida that has helped us. They've sponsored some of our children and her brother. I see Fidel, that's Janet's brother. I also see Felicia Jamison, and she would come to the school from time to time. And I remember there was a girl coming to the school, and it was the only person that we had in the school who had a baby. And, that's an interesting story there. She had a baby, and Felicia would bring things for her and take it into the community, you know, so it
Uh-huh.
enabled her to stay in school. You know,
Right.
I see, yes.
Right.
And I see Sean Lawrence is there. She was from the early days with Air Jamaica. And, you know, they would bring in the volunteers and they teach and they take them out and all of that. Take them on trips, you know. That's when we first started going out on trips, you know. Butch Stewart was then the CEO there, and they took the children all around. So those are the ones you know, who helped a lot. I see my niece, Jackie, you know, thank you, Jackie.
Yeah.
You know, she was always there for me. And I see Jennifer Wilmot. And she is Bobby Wilmot's wife. And she's the co-founder of the Joytown School. And now the principal of the school. And I also see Dennis Wade, you know, and he's in England, and another supporter go to his church, and they would make special collections for us. Kamara Gallimore, how are you? You know, they would come to the school, and I was the only place where they had a tape recorder. So,
okay. Yeah. So, since you have mentioned that some of them are actually with us, we actually invited a few of them to speak.
Oh, really?
And share a little bit with us. I was hoping to see Pastor Fletcher, but I don't see him.
Pastor Les Isaac is here.
But Pastor
Really?
Isaac is here, Mr. Isaac, who is the founder of Ascension Trust in the UK, coming to us from the United Kingdom. Pastor Leslie, please feel free. Tell us a little bit about your support of ORCS. Lovely to see you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, my lovely mother and sister and friend in the ministry. I got to know Miss Lorna through the late Pastor Bobby Wilmot. And to tell you the truth, I had invited Bobby to come to England to help me to share about what he was doing with Miss Lorna and how the church was seeking to respond to crime, to bring it down. And Bobby asked Miss Lorna to come to England, and she said, "Mina, I'm gonna wait, Bobby, you know, 'cause Bobby had all over the place, sleep and all kind of something." And so she didn't come to London, and I was deeply disappointed, but Pastor Bruce Fletcher came. But then I went to Jamaica the following year to meet her. And when I went there, Miss Lorna said, "I wonder who this Bobby I bring you again." You know? And we just met and we hugged up. And, you know, I mean, I just fell in love with her. She's contagious.
Yes, she is.
Really contagious. And I want to say that I have great admiration and respect for you, Lorna. And I want to say you are a woman of God, and you have done some formidable things, given the circumstances and situation. And you have made a mark on my life, on Louise, my wife, on the church here in the United Kingdom. And everyone that is in ministry here doing something, and you've met them, you have really ministered to us. And I want to say to you an enormous thank you. I've been to the school. In fact, I can't go to Jamaica without going to Trenchtown. And I'm always fascinated. And I tell people, if you want to know about faith, go to the school down in Trenchtown. If you want to get some faith, if you want to be able to trust God, if you want to believe God for breakthroughs, go to that school and just be with them for a time. And I remember one occasion there were some serious issues downtown, and I've just landed with two friends of mine, and one Nigerian and one white guy. And Miss Lorna said, "There was a gunshot yesterday. We're having a concert tomorrow, and I want you down here, Les." And, you know, whenever Lorna said something, you just have to think, well, don't worry, she's next to Jesus. So she's here. And we went down, and when I went down there, the radio station was there, police there marching, and young people marching, all the guys holding the corner. And the white guy with me, I said to him, okay, you're going to speak. He said, I'm white. I said, no, you're a man of God first, then you're white, okay? And the African guy went up and sang. He sang Redemption Song. And I was just bowled over how Miss Lorna, within 2 days, could have rallied around and put this thing on. And I want to say, thank you for showing us, many of us, that when things look impossible, if you trust and believe God, it becomes possible.
Amen.
So, Miss Lorna, I'm hoping to see you at some point. I'd like to see you and eat with you and just spend some time getting some more of those encouragement from you. But I also want to say before I conclude, Robert, I thank God for you and thank God for the formidable work you're doing. You've taken the baton. And you've gone way ahead. And many of us who have pioneered things are always looking for people who we can hand the baton to. And I must say, enough respect to you, Robert. Thank you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Pastor
Thank
Les.
you, sir.
Your
But Les-
words are so correct. This is a work
Les.
of faith and all his work. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Les, you forgot how you would walk through the community with me. And we'll run, you sit down with the guys them on the roadside and we'll run a boat and talk to guys like Dini and all those people. You don't remember that, man?
Listen, all of that. I remember when I felt like a baby because there's too much ganja there. But
But they ask me for you all the time, because you did other things that other persons did not do.
You made an impression. Yes.
Yeah, man, we cook food for them and sit down and play domino with them and tell them all kind of stories because he was a Rasta one long time.
You
And he
see,
told them all of those stories.
so obviously he was also meant to be there and to be a part of this whole process. This is God's work, just as you said, Pastor Les, and that Lorna heeded the call, as did you. So we're very, very grateful for you and for all that you have and continue to do. So thank you for that. Let me introduce now. I thought I heard you mention Mr. Carl Chambers, who is the president of Integrity Schools Fund based in Atlanta, Georgia, which I think is a nonprofit out of Atlanta. Mr. Chambers, if you would, tell us about your story with ORCS.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Lorna, it's really a blessing to share this moment with you and also Robert. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share. So I was introduced to Trenchtown in 1980, during 1980 elections. I was a young officer in the Jamaica Defense Force, and I patrolled those streets. And in those days, it was really a very violent community. What I didn't realize was that years later, Lorna would bring me back into Trenchtown, not as a soldier, but as a civilian. And this time, I didn't go with guns. I went with the love of Jesus and
Amen.
some US dollars. And it's been amazing. When I retired from the Jamaica Defense Force, my wife and I, we moved our family to Atlanta. And about 2 years after we moved here, we had a visit from Major Richard Cook and Richard DeLissa, friends of mine, who told us about Lorna Stanley. Never heard of her before, and told us about the work she was doing in Trenchtown. But most importantly, they mentioned that this school needed funding. But we heard the story and we didn't do anything about it. A year later, Richard DeLissa came back and he told us the same story. And so we concluded that God is now shouting at us that we needed to do something about it. And so out of us hearing about Lorna and meeting Lorna, we started this charity called Integrity Children's Fund. And so for the last 22 years, it has really been an honor just to support the school. With first of all with Lorna and then with Robert. And we have our own history with Robert. In fact, I knew Robert before he was born, when he was in his mother's stomach and when he was born as a young boy. So it's really amazing to work with him now having known his parents for quite a long time. But for us, it really is a blessing and an opportunity that God has given us to support and give back to Jamaica, and in particular to the work that Lorna and Robert has done and is doing. What Lorna might not realize is just how impactful she has been to the community here in Atlanta. You know, each year we have over 100 volunteers that support our organization, that help us to raise funds. And half of them don't know who Lorna Stanley is. They have never been to Trenchtown, but they've heard the story. They've heard Lorna's story. And so they give, and they give of their time, their talent, their funds. So Lorna has started this initiative in us here. And as I said, for those of us in foreign who are giving back through the opportunity that we have to support Operation Restoration Christian School.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Carl. You know, you are absolutely correct. You know, many of us who are abroad, myself included, are always looking for ways to give back to the rock, right? Giving back to home. And Lorna has opened this door. And, you know, once you've been into Trenchtown and to ORCS, you cannot not go. You just cannot not go. You just must. It's just one of those things, you know. It becomes infectious. As Pastor Les said, she's contagious. She is.
It's true.
And what is happening there is truly precious. And his work, you know, that's why I think we're all so drawn to it. So thank you so very much, Mr. Chambers. I appreciate your spending a little time with us and sharing your thoughts about ORCS. I think I spotted Pastor Bruce. Did I see him join us? I saw a Bruce in our participants. Is that Pastor Fletcher? Is that you?
Yes, it is. Hello.
It is?
Yes.
Awesome. So nice to see. I know you're on the move. All right. But glad you could join us for a few minutes. We're kind of reminiscing a little bit here, asking folks to share their story about how they came to be involved with ORCS. So if you would please, sir, for everyone, Pastor Bruce Fletcher is the CEO of Operation Save Jamaica. So take it away, Pastor Bruce. So good to see you.
Thank you so much, and greetings to everyone, and to Lorna, and to Robert. Just want to say, when we were starting Operation Save Jamaica, we decided to go to Trenchtown to start, and we're starting the pastors fraternal there. But part of our philosophy was that if something already existed, we would support it. And so we found the school in Trenchtown, where Lorna was. And I must say that we heard different kinds of stories about Lorna before we met her. Because some people couldn't understand how she would leave Florida to come to Jamaica and to work in Trenchtown. But God had a call on her life. And so when we went to Trenchtown, we saw Lorna at work, we saw the school, and so we decided that we would support and work with the Operation Restoration Christian School. But I think one of the things that I will always remember, and it inspired us, not just the story, but what we experienced ourselves as Operation Save Jamaica, and it also encouraged us to play a certain role. Lorna will tell the story that when she went down to Trenchtown at first, there were two men fighting, and she went and broke up the fight. And shortly after, following day or a few days after, a gentleman said to her, you know, he was thanking her, and she wasn't sure who he was. And he said, you know, he was one of the men who were fighting, and she came and broke up the fight. And he said, we need people like you to come down to Trenchtown and to prevent us from killing off one another. And that to me is such a example. And we followed that example because she carried us into situations where we had to break up fights, and we started our breakfast meetings through that kind of context. meeting with men and brokering peace. Lorna, for me, also represents somebody who even when persons have threatened her and do things bad to her, she would still demonstrate love and win the persons over. So I was at a meeting maybe some years ago, I think just after Lorna retired, where the MP for the area was there and some other persons. And one of the persons who I know had threatened Lorna was at that meeting. And he spoke so glowingly about Lorna. One of the things he said is that Lorna empowers persons in the community. He says some other people come to help, but it's like they are taking ownership of what is happening. But Lorna empowers people and help them to better themselves in various ways. So I just want to congratulate Lorna. There's so much that could be said. Going through the rough times and want to give up, but she has persisted. She has not given up. And even now, she has not given up in terms of the work at her age. And so we want to say congratulations to you, Lorna, and to Robert, who has come on and also have done significant work in terms of just organizing Operation Restoration Christian School. And we are looking forward to see so much more happen there. So indeed. I would just stop there. And Lorna, I know, no matter what we do, we can't keep you down. And one last thing I'll just say about Lorna. Lorna went to St. Mary and in 9 months transformed the lives of about 21 females in St. Mary. And that's just a tremendous testimony. She went to retire, she was retiring and she went there for 9 months and turned the place upside down. And there are ladies there who are just transformed and just encouraged by her. So thank you for your example.
Can't keep her down. Thank you so much, Pastor Fletcher. So good to see you. And your words are absolutely correct. I particularly appreciate your comment about Lorna empowering, others and not taking credit. Okay. And that's his work. Clearly that's what that's all about, and they see her heart, and respond to it. And that's a wonderful thing. So thank you so very much for being with us this afternoon. We have one more person that I wanted to call on. I know we're running late, but I know this is so good that we just have to keep going. So with us this afternoon is also Ms. Natasha Davids, who is representing the Union of Jamaican
I see me now.
Alumni.
Can you hear me?
Sorry.
Union of Jamaican Alumni Associations, USA Inc., and commonly known as UJA. Natasha is a former director and currently the co-chair of our ORCS committee. So welcome, Natasha. Tell us about UJA and their involvement with ORCS.
So thank you so very much. It is my pleasure to talk about the work that UJA is doing with ORCS. So unlike many of the folks who've spoken before, I was not there at the beginning and learned about ORCS perhaps a little later than most. Representing my association, Immaculate, came into UJA and became the UJA representative and eventually joined the board and learned about this remarkable school and what they were doing. And so when they set up, we decided to set up a very small ongoing fundraiser called Change for Change. I put up my hand and said that I would chair it. And so what Change for Change original mandate was that each of the alumni associations, when they gathered for meetings, would pass the hat and everyone would put their change in a box. And at the end of the meeting, each association would turn over to me whatever was collected at their meeting over the course of the time between the UJA meetings. And initially our goal was to raise $3,000 for the school. And we raised that pretty quickly and decided that we would continue to do this. And so my relationship with the school deepened there. And I learned about how UJA had initially gone in and walking around in the community, if I understand, Mrs. Barbara Richards and Anton were walking around and came across ORCS. And through that, the first project, I believe, was to build a fence for the school, right? To protect the children from the gunmen who would sometimes race out to the police station across the street and run through the classrooms. And so that was the first project that I learned about, followed by the industrial stove. And over the years, I know that UJA has replaced that stove. I know some individual members of UJA, through us sharing about Operation Restoration, have gone in and purchased the deep freezer for the school. UJA has renovated, I know, the girls' bathroom. We've purchased tablets, laptops, countless school supplies, and also privileged that we were able to afford both Mr. Dixon and teachers to attend various conferences and seminars, both in Jamaica and abroad. And so, you know, just to have that involvement and that connection with Mr. Dixon and the students, some of us have gone to the school several times. And, you know, UJA for the past couple of years have made a commitment to attend the graduation and to provide a small cash bursary to each graduating student. And we will be there next week as well to do the same. And just to let the students know that we are here for them and remain committed to assisting however we can, both with items big and small. And it's been one of the best things I've ever done. It's really been a privilege and an honor to be a part of this.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for sharing that story. And, you know, just as we said, once you are connected to ORCS, you just cannot let it go.
You're in.
Just cannot let it go. And that is a testament to the work that Lorna did and has done, as well as what Mr. Dixon continues to do. So thank you so very much for sharing that, Natasha. We so appreciate. All right, so with that, we want to share one more video with you all. We actually have two more, but we'll share one for now. And if we have time at the very end and you all want to hang around, we'll share a third one, which I think you all really want to see. But
Leslie Ann?
Yes, love.
I just want to say one quick thing.
Sure.
I mentioned that, you know, some of the students that we rescued were potential gunmen.
Yes.
I see one that is on right now, Curtis Grant. He's there,
my.
You know, yes. And I also heard Bruce talking about the woman in St. Mary, and I see her, Princess.
Okay.
Not that I'm asking them to say anything, but Curtis. I mean, if you put Curtis on, he won't stop talking for the rest of the year. But his life has been so dramatically transformed, you know, and I think, you know, we talk about them, but actually seeing them and hearing a little bit from them makes a big, big difference, because his life he's now in Canada and his family is there with him. Oh, yes. One of our big success stories. So I just thought I would mention that, you know.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Lorna. Curtis, don't go anywhere. Before the afternoon is out, we'll hear from you. Particularly since Ms. Lorna warned us that you are a talker. We understand. No problem. There are some few other little things that we want to make sure the folks who are on for the first hour that they get, and then we'll hear your story. All right. So, but thank you so much for joining. Hope you can stay with us. All right. Okay. So we have another video that we wanted to show you of our students. So Nikisha, if you could, I think this is of our drummers. our video so we can move on. I tell you, those drums look and sound so good. Nice to see that our school has been able to secure those drums. That's great. So, Miss Lorna, as we try to wrap this up now, one last question, please, for you. So, as you reflect on the past 30 years, what are you most proud of about the school?
I am not hearing you, Leslie Ann.
You're not hearing me? Let me come again.
No, now I do. Yeah.
Okay. So, as you reflect on the past 30 years, what are you most proud of about the school?
Oh, the many, many lives that we have touched. The many lives that have been transformed. You know, the hopelessness that we have restored to hope. You know, because when you lose something, and most of these young people, you know, don't really, they didn't see themselves going anywhere. And the impact that we have made on the community itself, you know, I was at a funeral a couple of weeks ago, and I had to go to the church, come outside the church, because, you know, when they saw me, I really didn't really realize that, you know, so many lives had been touched by the school. And one young man in particular, he just started to cry, you know. He cried and cried and cried. And I said, why are you crying that much? He said, if it wasn't for you, I would be dead. Because so many of the others that I used to hang out with have died, have been killed.
Sure.
And I remember when he learned to read, when he learned to write his name, it was a tremendous accomplishment. Sure. And they have, you know, as I say, what really I feel a deep sense of reward, and it's very humbling, especially when I, you know, unsolicited, I'm hearing from all of these, especially the men who have said how their lives have been transferred. One invited me to his wedding at the Pegasus in December. You know, that's the kind of thing, you know, that young man, I remember when he came and cried, and he wasn't there after school. And his whole life has changed, his family. So that's essentially is it, you know, the many, many lives that the school has been able to touch. Indeed. And to make a difference in their lives. And feel as if the mission has really been being accomplished, because it says changing our community to impact the nation and the world.
Correct.
And I think, I think that is what is happening in Trenchtown today.
And the mission continues in the capable hands of
definitely.
Mr. Dixon, as well as your board of directors. Definitely. So
I could not have chosen a better person.
You could not have.
You be my
absolutely
successor,
could not have. So with that, Mr. Dixon, so how can we support ORCS for this 30th anniversary celebration? Tell us about that, please, because we know everybody on this call wants to help in some way. So please tell us how can they do that?
Well, I'm going to ask Nikisha to share a link and even a QR code, where you can go and you can just click on the link or scan the QR code, and it will take you to a website where you can give. Right now, you can give. You can purchase tickets online, as well as you can also give. The information for giving locally to our VMBS account is in the chat. So tickets for our gala, fundraising gala and award ceremony is 21,000 Jamaican dollars, or 135 US dollars. Of course, we're trying to make money out of it, so the money will go to the school as well, and will go towards, you know, ensuring that the school continues to impact the community. So those are the ways that you can give. At the website, or all of it is in the chat. Via the Give Butter website, you can purchase tickets on First in Line, or you can give to our VMBS account. That is in the chat.
Okay, so no, folks, don't feel like you have to write down anything if you don't want to. We'll make sure that all of this information is posted on the ORCS website, operation_restoration.org. I believe
Yes.
that's the correct website, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
And on that website, also, if you don't receive our monthly newsletters, you can subscribe, or you can actually, I can even put my number in the chat as well. You can always, if you don't have my number, you can always WhatsApp me, and I'll add you to a new, so you're up to date as to what's going on in the school, the transformation that is happening.
Awesome. So thank you so very much, Mr. Dixon. And like I said, everything that we first of all, I neglected to mention that we are actually streaming this on YouTube. So if you missed some of this, or if you want to share what happened today with a friend who couldn't make it, feel free to go to YouTube, subscribe to the ORCS channel, please. That's a good thing to do.
Yes, watch our videos. There are a lot of videos on the channel. There are plays on the channel. You can subscribe.
Share with them what's happening here.
Just
There
want
are
to,
lots
if I can
of ways.
say,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
if I can say, well, from the Brunswick Church, right? Pastor Simon is online. I just want to hear him up. He and his wife came and spent time in the school last year, September, in the classroom. They spent 3 weeks, and we're grateful for you, Simon. And we just wanted to say blessings. I know you're hearing me.
Great. Yes, I know. I think we want to say thanks to everybody that actually came on individually. So please forgive us if we neglected to do that. Because that's a little impossible.
It is.
Yes, but please know that we so appreciate you being here. So let's wrap this, since we're a few minutes after 2 and we were hoping to do this in an hour, although we knew that was ambitious. Anyway, so first of all, let me thank Mrs. Stanley and Mr. Dixon, for sharing with us today, because without the two of you, ORCS would not be quite where it is. I want to thank our friends of ORCS, Pastor Fletcher, Pastor Les Isaac, Mr. Chambers, Ms. Davids. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We so very much appreciate it. I know that some of our ORCS board members are present with us also, including our chairman of the board, Mrs. Donna Mesquita. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have to thank our phenomenal tech team person. She's a solo phenomenon, Miss Nikisha Miller Griffiths. She has been doing all the spotlighting and video showing and all of that. Thank you so much for that, Mrs. Griffiths. And let me also thank each and every one of you. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us this afternoon, so that we could let you know what's coming down in September, with the hope that as many of you as possible will be here, that you will share this video so that they too can get the sense of not only what's coming, but join us in this celebration. It's Restoration Stories out of Trenchtown. We look forward to seeing and hearing from each and every one of you in September. So let's open the floor now for a little bit of fellowship. And if anybody wants to speak or say howdy to Miss Lorna or to Mr. Dixon or to anyone, feel free. This is a good time to do so.
Hello?
Yeah, everybody can unmute. Here we go. All right. If anybody wants to speak, if you want to raise your hand, we can do it that way and do so in an orderly manner.
Hello?
Where is Curtis? Curtis, let's hear from
There he
Curtis.
is.
There
Hi,
he is.
Curtis. Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Where are you, Curtis? Where in Canada?
I'm in Ontario.
Ontario. Oh boy, it cold up there, don't? Right?
It's really hot now. It's way hotter now.
Really hot? Oh, okay.
It's supreme hot.
But
Nothing compared
right?
to Jamaica, though.
It's what?
It's way hotter than Jamaica now.
Wow, that's so surprising, eh?
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
really hot.
Okay.
But what I really want to say, I want to first thank you guys, like the donor, and thank Miss Lorna and all the people that support Operation Restoration. And Miss Lorna said I talk a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really, I believe like I'm one of the most proudest students passed through the institution. Reason being, when going to the institution, a lot of person look down at the institution because you know you have the child, the trench town, and going to the operation, it's really helped me, helped me in such a way that it's really make I'm at an event now, so I have to move. I'm making too many noise, but it's really helped me so much, and it's impact me in such a way that up to today day, I try to live my life just to please Miss Lorna because of what happened. Okay.
They want you to
Okay.
move.
Curtis
Okay.
Curtis also came back and worked with our football team, worked,
Okay.
trained, and yeah, he was our coach.
Yeah.
And so it made an impact on the boys as well.
So
Yeah.
it's like for that, like for Miss Lana, that she really helped me. Is like at the time when I go in there, there's so many guys dying. And you know, I tell her so many lies. And today is the first. I was so mad that I never get to sleep in the house up at Lincoln there. But you know, my life has changed through her significantly because she was the first person I see as a role model for me, in which
Right.
somebody that I look up to say, hey, I doesn't want to fail. So even today,
Hello?
I think she make an investment in me, which I cannot pay, you know, because I wasn't easy to deal with, you know, and where love is concerned, I never know what love is, but with she always try to ensure that she show me that love and ensure that everybody who walk through that doors never leave the same, you know, and she give you the opportunity, she allow you to grow, and part of grow, you fail. And she allow when you fail, she try to help you to be better. And for that, you know, it was really, really challenging, you know, and it's really impactful on my life because I'm one of those guys. I go to Charlie Smith, you know, and I play chords. And then when you go to Charlie Smith, you say, yo, I'm coming from a slow learning school. And then the first year I play chords, I win chords. But what I find out is like a lot of people who go to Charlie Smith are worse than people who come to restoration because the average to play for Charles Smith that year was you have to pass 50, get 50 in 4 subjects. And I passed at least 6 subjects with
That's
over
right.
75 marks. And so when I look at it and I say, hey, all them people here say, no, we're slow at restoration. And these guys just have to beg marks for playing.
You get built up, man.
Yeah.
So-
Curtis,
so-
what
so-
are you doing now? What are you doing?
So I'm in construction.
Okay. You're working. Doing
Yeah, so I'm being
okay.
constructed.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
very good. Listen, we're so glad to have you here today. We're so glad you could join us. And you know, maybe we'll see in September. You know, let's.
Well, I will come back to the school next month. I'm planning to come back to September because
Okay.
I'm a single dad with my kids. So I will come back and I will try to
All
give my
right.
support
Do the best you can. Do the best
as
you
the
can.
best I can.
Yeah, keep in touch. Keep in touch. I see
Yeah.
Mr. Dennis Wade has his hand up. So
Pastor Dennis Wade.
Pastor Wade, please, let's hear from you, please, sir.
Right, greetings. I'll keep it very brief. Greetings, yeah, Pastor Dennis Wade from Micah Community Church in London, UK.
Okay.
Born to Jamaican parents, I was the first born here in the UK back in '62. a very large Jamaican family here. But as you probably are quite aware, if you're born to Jamaican parents, it don't matter where you live, you're in Jamaica anyway.
Correct.
Once you're in that yard. So we were raised Jamaican. My wife is Jamaican. She came to the UK when she was 6, and we've been married for 40 years. And just about every 18 months, 24 months, we go back to Jamaica and we spend some time in Ocho Rios and in St. Mary, where her family comes from. And of course, we go down to Kingston every so often to see Robert and the school, or at least on the phone to him quite a bit when he comes over here in the UK. I met Miss Lorna through my very good friend and mentor and leader here in the UK, Les Isaac, and also a very good friend, Patrick Regan, and many years ago now, and began to get to know Miss Lorna as she would come to the UK, and also I would go frequent Jamaica quite regularly. And then I eventually got to meet Robert as well, and spent lots of time speaking with Robert on the phone and meeting him when he comes here, and of course over there. So we've always been amazed by the work that you do. We've always felt that we want to give back, we want to make a contribution. So our church gives a small donation on a monthly basis. And despite all the challenges and the recessions, one standing order we've never been able to cancel is the one that goes to Jamaica for the school.
Amen.
That's awesome.
So committed to supporting that, giving back from our roots and everything. And I'm just so amazed by the work that you do. Miss Lorna's become a very dear friend, more like a mother, more like an aunt, and Robert very much like a brother. And really respect you both. Tremendous work that you're doing. We hold you in very high esteem over here. Keep up the good work. Congratulations. We're behind you. Bless you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Wade. You know, as you say, once you're in the ORCS family, that's it. You're never letting go, never letting go. Thank you so much. Okay, Miss Porter, you have your hand up. Yeah, let's hear from you.
Hi, yes, I'm Charlotte Porter Wint, and I met Lorna. I'm actually the director from Metro World Child Jamaica, and back in 2014, I met Lorna and Pastor Bill Wilson had come into Jamaica, because for years we've tried to do Metro World Child in Jamaica. And I popped on a little while ago, and to just see, the results of dedication and persons that have made up their mind to give back, and to, you hear a lot of persons talking about the problems, but I love to meet and work with the persons that choose to become a part of the solution.
Sure.
So I just tip my hat off to you, Miss Lorna, and God bless you and continue in the great work that you're doing. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Miss Porter. Appreciate that. Appreciate
All
that.
right.
Miss Flynn.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Well,
Hey, Flynn.
what can I say? Lorna is my Naomi. I've known Lorna since I was 18 years old. And I was in Kingston, and ever since I met Lorna, I have been with her. She's my mentor, my mother, my sister, my everything. I even moved to Florida with her in the 80s. I didn't want to leave her at all. When Lorna went to Trenchtown to look at the ground before Operation Restoration was built, I was with her. I helped clean up all that was on the ground, all the you know what. So I am a testament to Lorna's journey, and I am so happy that I became a part of Operation Restoration. From I was a teenager up to this day, I have adopted children in Trenchtown that are now adults, named children after me. I've never stopped because of Lorna. So I want to thank God for her and pray that God will strengthen her and continue to keep her, because I know she's not done. She said that a lot. I'm not finished yet. So there's much more to come. And I thank God for everyone that has come alongside her. And today, even this video is a testament of the lives she has touched. And thank you also, Leslie. I know we've been together for so long also.
I know.
Carlene
was on, you know.
Barrels and everything. So thank God for what he's going to do through this event.
Sure. Thank you so much, my love. I hope I see you soon.
Yeah,
Carlene
man.
said she saw you the other day.
Yes, it was
I
nice.
missed out. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
But good. Thanks so much.
Bless
Someone, Maureen's iPhone. Maureen wants to speak. Please go ahead. Folks are so orderly here. I love it.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Hi.
I'm calling from, well, I am in Florida, West Palm Beach, and I'm the vice president for Free Spirit Outreach. I actually had the opportunity to walk the streets of Trenchtown with Miss Lorna and also visited the school as well, probably about 6-7 years ago. And actually, Miss Lorna's name preceded her because my president actually met her, Lincoln Lewis met her and came back, and he was so excited. He said, I met this lady. I think you all need to meet Miss Lorna. So we did eventually meet Miss Lorna, and she is the epitome of what a true community leader is supposed to be. And there's nothing, I mean, legacy of love, you guys could not have, named it, given it a better name. So we loved Miss Lorna to the point that we actually did a community service award ceremony in her honor at the Hilton Hotel in West Palm Beach in 2018. And when the first time I met Miss Lorna, it was all about love. It was somebody who she embraced me, and I felt love. I felt like I knew her a long time ago. And, I just want to encourage Miss Lorna, and I don't think there's such a thing as retirement for Miss Lorna, because in my opinion, she's always looking for a project or something to do. And that is something that if we all do and just find a little project somewhere or another, our job would be done.
Exactly.
In helping people who need it. So we want to come and I just want to congratulate Ms. Lorna on her continued service, and also to Mr. Dixon as well, who keeps me in the loop, even though sometimes I'm not able to, be in touch. But I want to say thank you, Mr. Dixon, for staying in touch, and I hope that I can be there in September as well.
Wonderful.
Okay,
yes.
And you'll be getting my donation without a shadow of doubt.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lorna.
Thank you
God
so
bless
much,
you and
Ms.
love
Maureen.
you.
Appreciate that. We have
Yes,
another
thank you.
hand up. Okay, Heather Dawn Lawson. I can't see your whole name, please.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, it's a long name, but never mind.
But Lawson Marys. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I am just so grateful to be a part of this community. I would be remiss if I didn't take the time to say heartiest congratulations to Miss Lorna. We crossed paths just about when she was beginning the school. I didn't realize at that time, but Lorna is like glue. Once you connect, you stay connected. And it was such a smooth transition to Robert. And I'm just so grateful that even though I am not physically able to be present and do things with the community, that I have the confidence that whatever I contribute goes to where I need it to go. Because unfortunately, integrity is a challenge. And when you find a place where you can close your eyes, give your money, and know where it's going without a shadow of a doubt, that is indeed a blessing. So thank you, Lorna. Thank you, Robert, for allowing me to, through you, have hands and feet to make a difference in the community. God bless you both.
Bless you, bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Heather. Very well said.
Okay.
Transparency is so very important, and the integrity that surrounds ORCS. You are so absolutely right. You just know that without a shadow of a doubt that when you give, it is going to help the school and its students. Robert, are out of time? Well, I know we shut down at probably 2:30, yeah? All right,
Yes. So yeah, that's fine. I see. We can.
We have
continue
another
to-
hand up. Kemar?
Mr. Gallimore.
Yes. Yeah, I just want to congratulate Miss Lorna. 30 years in serving the community, you know, and I don't know if you can hear me. Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you fine.
Yeah, man. I born and grew up in Rema, Trenchtown, you know. So I was one of those youngsters, you know, who used to be down in Trenchtown, and I got saved in 1997. So there was a time when we used to use that same school for our Bible study. You understand what I'm saying? So Miss Lorna have been very active in that community. She have been a real blessing to us. Every youngster in there, you know, respect. And, you know, respect Miss Lorna. And even beyond that, even last year I was doing a concert over here called Gospel to the World, and Miss Lorna was so helpful. She sold a lot of tickets for me, you know, at the door. So anything I'm doing, she's always supportive of it. And if you're going through anything at all, you can go to her and she will just always have something positive to say to you, to encourage you, you know? So I just want to congratulate her, and I'm looking forward to be in Trenchtown in September, you know, in a few months.
Awesome.
Well, if
Thank you so much, Kemar. I appreciate that.
We have to make you perform, then, you know.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Definitely, you know.
Yes, Kemar.
So I'm looking forward, but I'll talk to you some more about that.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
All
God bless.
right.
Good.
So with that, I think we can close. Let me say thank you again so very much to everyone that was able to be here today. And we look forward to seeing you all in September. And don't forget, every mickle make a muckle, right? So it's not about how much, it's just about giving as best you can. So thank you all so very much. I'm gonna sign off at this point. All right.
You want to? We have the little video to share.
Oh yes, the video from Travis. Let's play that to close out. So this is a student, ladies and gentlemen, who was a student at ORCS and who then went on to attend Gainstead High School.
My name is Charles Stevens. I am from Kingston, Jamaica. I attend Operation Respiration Christian School. Actually, I start the school at 2017. Start off in a level 1. Level 1 teacher, her name is Miss Deborah Folks. Sorry, when I just attend the school, nothing I did dance. Tell them I did dance, so I just attend the school. But Miss Debbie work with me. She take me to a different level, you see me? Because I did well low when I just attend the school. She take me to a different level. Continue till I reach in level 2. No, before the first time in level 1 when I come first in the class, I used to pass all of my tests. I did cry because I say me come first. I never come first in primary school in my life. So I did cry. Move on to level 2 now. I'm really happy with myself. Move on to Miss Dixon, my level 2 teacher. Yeah, she work with me. Although sometimes when I get it, sometimes she gives some pinch still. But that's alright, she do it for the best way, you know. So she teach me maths. Miss Deborah folks that I teach with language arts, and then Miss Dixon mostly teach me maths, how for the maths. I'm proud of her and things. I'm glad. She's supposed to proud of me too, because I'm rich right now. So I live, you know. So we'll move from level 2. I become second in a level 2 and move from level 2 to level 3. Actually, Miss Dixon teach me in a level 3 again because the other teacher was supposed to teach me. She did gone, like she gone overseas. So Miss Dixon teach me in a level 3. I'm gonna come third, so me I drop back. Now me in level 4. No, me in level 4 and Miss Dixon teacher again, cause other teacher, like she gone from the school. Miss Kirkland, she gone from the school, so Miss Dixon teacher again. So Miss Dixon take actually she my second mom. She my second mother. Cause she take me to a different level, go straight to level 4. Yeah. And I'm just happy for her, cause like she Miss Dixon, Deborah folks, and Sir Dixon, I'm give me everything more. I'm not thought like buy things to me, but them give me education. Yeah. I love them and rate them for that.
Let's unmute.
So Travis, as I mentioned, was a member of the class of 2021 and went on to attend Gainstead High School. So there are some many lives touched, just as Lorna mentioned, that makes this work just so very worthwhile. So thank you all again so much. And with that, I will give you all back your afternoon. Let's say thank you all so very much for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you all in September. Good afternoon. Take care.
Blessings, everyone.